for Black Lives Matters and missing and murdered Indigenous women. I am against both of these organizations 100%. Both of these organizations exploit the disabled and the homeless. These are the actual most victimized people in the country, the most murdered, the most raped, people who are most likely to disappear, the most likely to be victimized by police, the most likely to be victimized by the courts, the most likely to be victimized by serial killers and serial rapists. And meanwhile, both of these racist groups, that is what they are. And here's why. The majority of their statistics come from homeless people. The majority of BLM, the things that they have to say about the homeless. And then they want to use, well, the majority of the arrests are against homeless people. Homeless black people. Yes, they happen to be black, but that's not why they were targeted. They were targeted because if nobody gives a shit, it somehow makes it okay. That's how these people choose their victims. The most psychopathic people that you will ever meet will always be cops. Always. Even when they're smiling in your face. No cop is your friend unless you are a pretty white girl or a rich person. The only way to make them care about anyone else is to do so in force. When you are a poor person or a homeless person, you need to go in with a group of people and you need to record it 100% of the time. Pretty cool branch. Looks like at some point in time somebody was trying to turn that one into a flute or something. I don't know. Now what is it that makes BLM a racist hate group? Those statistics that they want to use. They want to abuse it and pretend that those were black people that were being abused and not homeless people. Because we get to see the rhetoric out of them and their followers about the homeless, don't we? They only care about homeless black people, sort of, if it's something that is in their favor. But then, of course, we also get the, oh, well, we shouldn't all be victimized over what homeless black people are doing. Well, what about the fact that all homeless people are victimized over things that very few of us have ever actually done or taken part in? Do you know how few of us out here on the streets are child molesters? Not very fucking many. Especially given the fact that this is where you dump off all of your fucking chimos. Oh, but then you've got special rights groups that have gotten it so that child molesters, when they get out of prison, get a stipend. That's a government paycheck because they fucked your kid. And they get a roof over their head for it. And then, of course, these chimos want to go to a halfway house. We got halfway houses full of chimos. And then we got victims of police brutality. That's the rest of us. We're not humans to you people. Mmiw, same thing. And that's a sexist group too. But that is understandable because it's out of necessity. When it was MMIP, missing and murdered Indigenous people, nobody gave a fuck. You change it to a W on the end and people start caring. It's horrible, isn't it? Well, that's real life, motherfuckers. Ever since I was a kid, just like that young woman was saying the other day, and quite a few other people actually, We were all taught to do the things that you want to pretend I'm a stalker for doing. No, these are what I was taught to do. Asking my friends for help turning in these crimes is not stalking. What Natalie Bollinger, Maddie Boa, Tim Beeson, and many others who are actually on fucking drugs, unlike me who doesn't use them. These people were actually on drugs. Yes, many of Natalie and Alicia Bollinger's customers probably wanted to fuck them. Yes, they were young and pretty, but they were also the customers. So that's two good things going for them, and also for Maddie Boa. Maybe I can get some brownie points with my dealer. You don't think that has any effect on my life when you got some fucking tweaker trying to fucking validate his fucking stupidity and trying to impress a fucking junkie girl? Oh, and more kudos because you might get extra drugs from her. I wonder if Natalie Bollinger paid Tim Beeson in heroin or methamphetamines to harass me. That sounds far-fetched and way out there, doesn't it? Well, let me pose it to you like this. That's probably not what happened. It was probably Tim Beeson being a fucking douchebag. I mean, he was creating the problem that I was trying to get help with. I needed Natalie's help stopping people like Tim Beeson, people who she had told me did horrible shit to her. But you don't care. And that's because of the mentally ill tag. You look at me and you pretend that I'm Jeffrey Dahmer or Ted Kaczynski. Oh, I get it. I really do. And I'm going to tell you, I don't understand a goddamn thing about Jeffrey Dahmer. I don't know what the fuck was going through his fucking head. But Ted Kaczynski, yeah, he doesn't have the same moral constitution that I have. He's absolutely right. The people he was trying to kill absolutely are the ones you need to take out. The ones he ended up killing, however, well, that's the servant class. That's the people who are living on credit if they're lucky. Your maid goes out to check your mail. She's just a maid. She don't get paid shit. She's not the master of the house, but she goes out to her mailbox and boom! Yeah, I'm not a real big fan of his tactics. Of course, with the primitive technology that he chose to use, hoping that he wouldn't be traced, well, it's understandable why he didn't try to set up a camera or possibly tap into some of the public cameras. I've been told you can do that. I don't know how to do it yet, but I'd like to. Of course, people can use those things for nefarious purposes. You know, if the Taliban had half a brain, they'd just set up bombs all over the place, radio controlled, and watch the cameras. Now, we got to learn a lot from the terrorists, like the double tap. You know that with the gun from video games, many of you. Although really, it's 2 to the chest and 1 to the head. That's how you make sure they're dead. But the double tap for a suicide bomber. First suicide bomber walks into a school or a public market, blows himself up. Then you get your first responders. Police, tactical, EMTs, fire. What happens then? That's when the second bomber comes in and blows himself up. Those are some big blackberries. I don't remember what I titled this video. I suppose it doesn't matter. The fact is, the police lied. And hundreds of people who had offered to help me, who I was trying to get their help, jumping through all of their expensive fucking hoops to get the help that they promised and never followed through with. And then the cops outright lie in court. Things that I already have evidence of, I just need help turning it in. These people could have prevented it from being recorded and put on YouTube by just simply coming forward to begin with, instead of being cowards. I don't owe it to these people to hide their crimes. When I called them up to get help, I recorded it for a reason. When they talked about them instead, well, that got recorded. Maybe if they'd have helped me with some editing skills, instead of bullshitting me, helped me with the computer stuff, instead of bullshitting me. All this in person, by the way, because I kept on traveling to people who said if I was there in person, they'd help. So I went and they didn't. A sandwich is not what we agreed upon. Those of you who want to tell me to be patient, let me tell you something about these crimes. The sooner something is done, the better. Kind of like when your sister is raped. She needs to be taken to the hospital for a rape kit immediately. Matter of fact, you should call the cops on your way to the hospital and have them meet you there. Otherwise, the cops are not likely to give two fucking shits. When it's on the news, they care. It's not my fault that people are too cowardly to tell the truth. It is my fault that I put them on the internet. That is my choice. And I'm proud of myself for it. They wanted to play head games in a serious fucking situation. You want to withhold evidence, destroy evidence, or assist my predators, well, you're committing crimes right there. You done showed your true colors when you did those things. And as a result, you're on the internet for that too. These people wouldn't be on the internet the way that they are if they had done what they said they were gonna. The fact that I was able to record them saying they were gonna is even more better. The fact that I have a recording of what it cost me, matter of fact, many, is even more better. But without the ability to show it, because I don't have any assistance in person, I'm pretty fucked. Oh. That one was better for a reason. I bit into a bug. Not a good bug. Oh, I found a cigarette. Oh, fuck. Jesus, my back fucking hurts. Anyway, having to do this stuff over the phone with people if they can make the time. Having to rely on people that won't record it and who change their minds about what happened. That's very confusing to me. Either it did or it didn't. You shouldn't have told me two different things. Now for me, the more scared I am, the more difficult my communication is going to be, and that is an autistic trait. We've got a lot of people in the United States being victimized because they're victims. Because through all of their trying to get help, they always had to do it alone. And many of these people out here, well, they've been victimized, tried to turn in their predators, and had to do it alone. And many of them had to go through the same thing as me. The constituents en masse here in the United States hate the homeless. Now then we've got people wanting to talk about how difficult their voters' rights are. Oh, we need our voters' rights. Well, you don't have enough numbers to actually effectively sway a vote. I mean, really, you don't. If all the white people voted one way and all the black people voted another, the white people would always win. Thank goodness there are white people who recognize that black people are people too. But now we've created a black society. That's right, we have created a black society where we have told all these black individuals that it must be because of racism. Or we've got parents of black kids telling them, hey, you can't run away like your friends do. You'll get shot because you're black. Well, that's true. He may get shot in the back for being black and running away. Same thing with a homeless person, especially an autistic homeless person. Then you got the ones who are schizophrenic, and you get to see a few of those. They got delusions. They think they're fucking Rambo and shit. You see them out on the road with a fucking knife. No, you don't need to fucking shoot them. That's what you got a goddamn taser for. Yeah, I get that he's got a fucking knife. I understand he's got a fucking knife. You got a fucking vest on. This is somebody who is obviously under a severe amount of stress, and they're obviously afraid of cops for a reason, and you're showing us why. But they don't just do it to schizophrenic people. They do it to autistic people. They do it to people who are just broke. I want you to imagine this scenario. You're a little boy, you get raped by your dad. You don't like it, and you leave. You can't go to the cops, they're not going to be your friends. You ran away. You're a runaway. If you tell them what your dad did, they're not going to give a shit. They're not going to administer a rape kit. You're going to have to go in by yourself as a fucking kid. Now, I remember in the 1980s, when you told your teacher about abuse, they had to do something, and they fucking did. We were taught in the 80s and the 90s in school that if these situations happen, these are the people you go to. I followed those rules. They didn't work. And meanwhile, we got people who want to throw statistics at us that are bullshit. We got BLM saying, oh, well, the statistics here, they show that the police are targeting black people more than anybody else. No. You look at the statistics. Realistically, how many homeless people are there, and how many of those people incarcerated were homeless when they were locked up? Yeah. You're going out of your way to misrepresent the situation, and by misrepresenting the situation, you are ignoring the most victimized people in the country, BLM. You are telling all of the homeless victims to go to the back of the fucking bus, including the black ones. I'm not for BLM. I'm not for Mmiw. I am for the victims. All of the victims, regardless of gender, regardless of skin color. And if BLM and MIP can't get together, and Mmiw and BLM can't get together, and they can't stop this systemic issue by working together, they just want to change laws that aren't going to be fucking enforced anyway. We're going to have more cops in 6 fucking months who murder more black people, and you're going to give a shit and riot again. The homeless people don't riot, do they? No, they don't. Not unless they join yours. You people in houses are the ones who riot. We don't have the fucking numbers. Now, if we were able to get all of the homeless people in Boulder County, all 4,900 of them, all at once to march into Boulder, Colorado and fucking riot, oh yeah, that would be a fucking riot. But our numbers are few and far between and spread far apart. Sure, there's thousands, but it's a big fucking county, and most of these people are cowards. A lot of these people don't want no trouble. They get harassed by the fucking cops enough just following the law. They don't want to get messed with for actually taking part in committing crimes like that. But of course, the cops do what they do in Boulder anyway. It's a riot. Might as well go arrest some homeless people. If they weren't involved, we'll just pretend they were. No biggie. They're not going to get a chance to speak, and we got the public pretenders wrapped around our fingers because, of course, they trade with the prosecution homeless people's lives like fucking baseball cards. Mmiw, I understand the changing the P to a W because what people actually care about women, and that's been shown time and again. If you say people, folks generally don't care. If you say women, we're conditioned socially to care. And every woman in America knows this. And every woman in America can use this as a weapon. They also weaponize their vaginas. And I'm not talking about your wife refusing to have sex with you if you don't vote for Donald Trump. I'm talking about the sheer quantity of fucked up in the head women who take advantage of this fucked up bias, and if they don't get what they want, they say, oh, he touched my naughty. Now, something that y'all might not have noticed is that through all of this slander, including by Kara Johnson Miles, slander that is on my court paperwork, slander that was used to deny me my rights as a human being, and it was outright slander. Natalie Bollinger, on that final post, scroll up to the very beginning, you get to see how she said that we never had a sexual relationship. She wanted more than just friends. I didn't. Our text messages prove that. And yeah, Mandy Singer, she got to read those and she got to speak about that. And it's on my YouTube channel. I see white male victims being ignored because of racism and sexism. Mmiw and BLM don't help. And then there's homelessness and disabilities on top of it. It is never okay to call somebody who has a disability mentally ill. Ever. Ever. That's worse than calling a black man the N-word. When you call a black man the N-word, you're being a hateful asshole. But when you call somebody mentally ill, you're doing worse than that. You're going out of your way to try to discredit them so that nobody listens. And that's why I have to scream. And then you pretend I'm a monster because I have to scream. Now look at all of the people who have screamed at me. Look at all of the people who have assaulted me. And who have I assaulted? Fucking nobody. I haven't assaulted anybody through any of this. The one situation that they can almost sort of pretend like I was the aggressor is when they injected drugs into me after assaulting me, knowing full well already the reaction that I was going to have to those drugs. But they did it anyway. They did it because I was trying to use the phone to call 911 to turn them in, and of course, to turn in Waylon Lolatai. And it wouldn't dial out. Do you know what that's like? To be in a place like Clearview, they were closed down for murdering a man and covering up his murder. They murdered him before I was sent there. And why was I sent there? Because I was trying to turn in evidence against Scott DaCosta. I was trying to turn evidence against the Bollingers. And I was trying to turn in evidence. Well, actually at that point it wasn't against Scott DaCosta. It was just several of his deputies. But I was for certainly trying to turn in the officers who were involved. And I explained that I'd gone to all these people and I had jumped through all of their hoops. You know why I got a disability? Because people insisted that if I jump through those hoops, I'll get help. They'll have to help me. No, they won't. Your bias trumps the law every fucking time. If you don't care about the fucking victim, the cops know that they can do whatever the fuck they want. If you slander a man the right way, the cops will do whatever the fuck they want, and the American public will fucking support them. And then you dump off all of your child molesters and rapists on the homeless. We got motherfuckers out here running places that are supposed to be for the homeless, and they're being run like it's a fucking prison yard. You got people, the most at-risk people out here, people like myself and like Jamie, and yeah, I'm not as bad off as Jamie. I've got a vehicle I can drive away, and I've got some sense and sensibility left. But I need my life to end because every single one of you are showing me that you don't fucking care. I don't fucking matter, and I never did. I'm just pretty words. I'm somebody for you to bitch at when your life doesn't go right. That's not fucking helping me at all. If you're telling me those is your excuses for not keeping your word, then you need to come forward about that in fucking court. You need to speak up about that in public. Instead of arguing with me for hours or days or weeks or literally years, claiming it won't do any good. You're right, Chelsea Aiken, it didn't do any good because you never spoke up. You're right, Megan Misigatis, it didn't work because you never spoke up. You're goddamn right, it doesn't work if you make zero fucking effort. And when you take advantage of somebody who is disabled and being abused and going through hell, and then you, as their friend, want to abuse them, no, you are no kind of a fucking friend, and you do not get to pretend like you were stabbed in the back when your victim fucking speaks up. Kayla Trujillo, Brian David Schwartz, Shannon Alvarado, Brett Roloff. Oh yeah, you guys showed you fucking care. How about Mandy Hughes? Or her daughter, Alyssa Rainwater? These people intentionally misled me that they were going to help me, but they never kept their word. They never followed through. No matter what, there was always some excuse. And that's how it is with everyone. When you are a homeless, disabled male, people just assume that you must be a child molester or a rapist. That's why we have to run off all of these little girls who want to come down and try to get some fucking cocks from some fucking homeless dudes. That's why we got to run off these little girls who want to come down there trying to get the wrong kind of love and the wrong kind of attention. We have to run them off because, first of all, they're down there looking for dick. We got 14-year-old girls trying to ride 30-year-old dick down there. It's because girls are told that they're more mature, so they never mature past middle school. Because in middle school, you tell them all, oh, well, you're so mature for your age. And then they never get mature beyond that. It's not that women are evil, it's that we've taught them to be evil. It's not inherent, it's learned. Just like these bias. We've got the Mmiw movement doing the same exact thing. All of these people, they want to pretend like they care for just a second, but every day is a day for, of course, their cause, but nobody else's. Meanwhile, they're not making the connection because they're fucking idiots that this is all of our cause. The majority of Mmiw's statistics come from Native Americans who live in, what? Nothing, they're fucking homeless. The majority of their statistics, but the majority of their posted victims have houses and family who gives a shit. And we got to see recently even more crime. There was that Native man who stabbed another Native man to death. Didn't know him. Just walked up and fucking stabbed him to death. Why? Because he was homeless. And then, of course, we got that homeless black man in a sleeping bag over on the East Coast. That's a fucked up situation too, ain't it? There he was trying to sleep. The BLM rally just got concluded for the night. And these youngins are walking by on their way home and decide to throw an artillery shell at the black man in the sleeping bag who was homeless. That's right, even at a BLM rally. After the BLM rally, every fucking homeless person has to worry about all of the black people and all of the cops. The homeless, we're everyone's enemy, by your choice. By your choice. Do you, BLM, ever decry this evil and violence and horrible action against the homeless? No, you don't. How about you, Mmiw? You are not speaking up for your homeless sisters. You're not sticking up for your homeless brothers. But you want to use their statistics, the abuse that they endure, to try to push a cause that doesn't give a fuck about them. BLM only gives a shit about black people in houses. Just like Darren O'Connor only cared about people of color in houses because he knew he could gain and pull sympathy. There's no sympathy for homeless people unless it's en masse. If you lose your house because your fucking husband's a chimo, or because you got a careless neighbor, you lost your house and now you're homeless. If you ain't got any family outside of that, you're pretty well fucked. If you were renting the place, you're probably even more fucked than that. Then you're out on the streets and no one gives a fuck. Not BLM, not Mmiw, not NAMI. Nobody gives a fuck. Now I call all these places that I'm told to call over and over and over again, and each and every one of them telling me that it's somebody else's fucking job. No, it's all of their job. They're all mandated reporters. Everybody from DHS. They're all mandated reporters. Everybody at the hospital. They're all mandated fucking reporters. The reason that I needed someone to go in with me is so that it would be taken seriously instead of me getting treated like a fucking junkie every goddamn time I had to go to the fucking hospital. My predators, the very cops that I was trying to turn in, got to run around and tell hospitals and fucking nurses and doctors and judges and all sorts of other people that I'm schizophrenic. Meanwhile, these officers are not qualified. And the one person in all of this who has actually seen me long enough to diagnose schizophrenia says I am not schizophrenic. How funny is that? She's an actual mental health care professional, not a screwy officer, not a crooked cop. She's a mental health professional, and at that point in time, she had 42 years under her belt. Of course, that's longer than I've been alive. That means in the 1980s, she might have actually done her fucking job as a mandated reporter. But now you get to hear all these mandated reporters saying, well, Sean, I can't. I'll lose my job. I'm afraid I'll lose my job. You're going to lose your job now. I don't know how much Kim Jepsen shared or how much I shared with her. I know she never tried to turn it in. That's the problem. Even in Nebraska, where it's against the law to look the other way, where you have to help that person turn it in, especially if it's an at-risk or disabled adult, you have to. It is against the law for you not to. Candace Bondurant, her shit was in Colorado where she worked at a hospital. It's against the law for her not to. And the abuse that she endured while I was there is also abuse against me because it was over the situation with Natalie, and it did affect my situation. All right, I messaged you. This young lady is messaging me again saying she doesn't have the right email address. doggedroman@gmail.com. doggedroman@gmail.com. I sent you a message on when you typed that before. I sent you a message. I don't know why you didn't receive it. It was a reply to something that you had sent. I can't fix that, just so you know. That's the thing about not being tech savvy. I needed help with that. I literally spent thousands of dollars to go see people who were going to help me with that, who didn't. They were too busy doing drugs or getting drunk. When I say I need actual help, I mean I need actual help. I need somebody who's not afraid to use their real name and to tell the truth in public. This person calling themselves Pebbles Woke Alicia. Oh, you changed your profile name. I'm not woke, by the way. I fight for all the victims. And that doesn't mean that you're a horrible person for typing that. You know, for some people it means something different than others. I get to see the dirty side of things. For a lot of people that hit the streets, especially, well, a lot of young folks, they're impressionable from the Rainbow family. And the Rainbow family's got all the drugs they want. The Rainbow family also has the connections to get mass quantities of those drugs and dose a bunch of people. They are the largest criminal organization in the United States. Now, the Rainbow family, they're actually used to not be that bad. It was a bunch of deadheads, followers of the Grateful Dead. Oh, I got a joke for you. Oh, wait. I won't tell you the knock-knock joke. It's not appropriate. How many deadheads does it take to screw in a light bulb? None. They wait for it to burn out and then follow it around the country for 20 years. And that's exactly what happened to the Rainbow family. They became the Drainbow family. We had nationals for Rainbow in Colorado. And they sent a guy down to make sure everything was all clean. It might have been regionals. But, you know, it's just a gathering of people, like-minded people. But the guy who they sent to make sure that there was no pedophiles there ended up giving a 14-year-old and a 16-year-old fucking them. So, yeah, no more Rainbow after that. And then, of course, that video where Jamie got assaulted too long ago in the Dalles. See, that's what it's really like for the homeless. How many of y'all people who are talking about getting shot by the police, how many times were you assaulted last week? Jamie got assaulted at least 3 times in 1 week. not to mention the rest of the hatred, because she's exhibiting signs of trauma. When police are able to abuse you and use your trauma to pretend you're a bad person, it's fucked. Hey, Pebbles, will you speak up on your YouTube channel and on your You don't have a Facebook, do you? I need people to speak out. I need them to use their actual voices and explain what they've seen. I've shown this evidence to so many people who didn't want to look, didn't take the time to look. People like Mandy Hughes. You know, it was probably 3 or 4 months after I sent her a whole shit ton of evidence that she finally let me know she hadn't seen it yet, and she was going to have her daughter help her to do that. See, she got a house and a husband and a daughter. She got a place to do those things, and she has help doing it. I got to try to troubleshoot over the phone with people who think that telling me to do something I already tried is help. Show me how. Show me. Don't tell me to do something I've tried repeatedly. There's the, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again, people. It's just a pretty goddamn meme. And then there's also the, if you always do what you always did, you always get what you always got, people. That, again, is another pretty meme. And they are on opposite ends of the goddamn spectrum. One of them is saying the reason that you're failing, and the other one is the reason that you're failing, and both of them make it your fault. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. I wanted the abuse to stop. But how much am I allowed to try before I'm treated like I'm a fucking stalker because I have a penis? No special interest group gives a shit about me. The ACLU doesn't give a fuck. NAMI don't give a fuck. Shit, I gotta call Boys Town in Nebraska to talk to NAMI. Meanwhile, Boys Town is in a bit of trouble of their own for their inappropriateness towards children. Do we hold all staff there responsible, or just the ones who did it? We should ask ourselves that at the Catholic Church. Are we going to hold just these bishops? Are we just going to hold the Catholic bishops who molested children responsible for this? Or are we going to hold the people who broke the law outright by turning the other way and by assisting these predators in relocating to other environments where they could abuse more people, just like they're doing with the police? Our government does that with the police all the fucking time. Waylon Lolatai assaults people in Denver, they move him to Boulder. Boulder, he gets a big fucking head because he already got away with one assault, and then people were fucking applauding him for the assault against me. I didn't even know his fucking name. I had to learn that from a cop watcher. Goes by the name of Colorado Donkey Watch. I highly recommend watching his channel. The guy's a dick. It would have been nice if I'd have had somebody like him there with me when I had to turn these things in, but his advice was not to try to turn them in. Well, that's a major problem, because this can't be allowed to continue. These officers need more than just a verbal reprimand for what they've done. They got people killed. No, your pretty fucking words don't goddamn fix that shit, do they? Why is it these cops are so well entrenched in trying to hide their fucking crimes? Because their crimes against me got Natalie Bollinger fucking killed, and many others. There are over 20 bodies in connection with this situation now. But you don't want to hear about that. I'm not female enough to be a victim. Because of my gender, I must be a predator. And you push that, and you push that, and you push that. But you don't know me. You just know that something with a vagina said something. And it must be true because this actual drug addict was on actual drugs, whereas I don't do drugs. I don't do drugs. I've never tried heroin. I've never tried cocaine. I have tried meth over 20 years ago, folks. Almost 20 years ago. 2003, it'll be 20 years. I tried it. Big difference between trying something and using it long term and becoming a fucking addict. What Natalie Bollinger did was use it long term and become an addict. Many of the witnesses that didn't come forward, they're also meth addicts. Case Leighton Morris being one of them. Then we got Sage Wayward Rages. This guy, he come from a well-to-do family, and life is a fucking party for him. Fair weather friends and all that. When I was in Virginia, he was in contact with me the whole time. I even got permission from Natalie and Alicia. Well, I can't say it was permission, it was their idea. To have Sage send my birthday present to their mom's house. So I did. I don't know what he sent. I do know I didn't get it. I wasn't there. I wasn't there to receive it. Because of the situation with Natalie Bollinger and their fucking lies. Nobody stops to consider what it cost me. How it robbed me of resources to get their help. I did what Alicia asked, and I stayed behind where she worked. I went to the Starbucks only 2 doors down, where her boyfriend worked. I was known as Starbucks Sean. The reason I go to Starbucks is because their safety policy helps to keep at-risk individuals like myself safe, at least temporarily. Unless we have a meltdown, which does happen. You have a meltdown because that's your only safe place, but you're going to have to leave there when they close. You need to turn in the people who fucking victimized you yesterday, but Starbucks isn't going to help you turn in your predators. They'll let you have a safe place to sit, but they're not going to help you turn in your predators. Individuals who work there might. There's a lot of people like Jess up there in Tacoma, Washington, who needs to come forward. I never stopped trying to get help, and everything that I did, including the laws that I broke, were to try to get all of this evidence into court to save lives. But you know what? With this many people dead because the cops didn't want to fucking do their jobs, I would expect the hierarchy of the government to try to help cover this shit up. I mean, for Jesus fucking Christ's sake. The FBI was involved in the fucking threats, harassment, and intimidation. Neglect. Not doing their fucking jobs. They weren't gonna unless somebody actually stepped up and helped me in fucking person. I'm not allowed to do these things for myself. If you force me to go in and talk to the cops alone, and that is your idea of help, you can go fuck yourself. And Anna, she said, you need an organization to help. You need more than just a few people to help. No, I didn't at the very beginning. I just needed one. To this day, I've only needed one. I've already got your words, Anna. Your words are already fucking recorded. I don't need you anymore. It's already verified that you fucking exist. It's already verified that the stories that I told that involve you are fucking true. By your own admission. You want that down? Too fucking bad. Oh, you tried to have it removed. It didn't fucking work, did it? You should have told that to all these other idiots who keep trying to have shit removed. It doesn't work. Back when the algorithms were, oh, well, if 10 people hate you enough and they want to fucking spam your profile and call everything spam, then you'll get put on a Facebook ban. Well, Facebook changed that. So did YouTube. Thank goodness. You guys keep trying to destroy evidence of your own wrongdoing. That's the thing about these people who promised to help me, is that I did save evidence of their wrongdoing. About how they intentionally misled me and the situation. And individually, we got to look at every single one. When I say I have hundreds of predators that I got to turn in, I mean I have hundreds. Many of them claim to be my friends, but their drugs were more important than telling the truth. That's why I have to take this abuse, because they didn't care. Obviously, my predators care to still get on my channel to this day and fucking create more profiles all the fucking time to fucking threaten, harass, and intimidate me. Just like people did before Natalie was killed. But you don't give a shit about that. To this day, the cops haven't investigated a single crime committed against me because not a single person has actually tried to help turn it in with me. Every cop in America is a liar. That's sad and pathetic. I fight for black rights, and I fight for the rights of missing people. That includes Native Americans and black people, but it's not limited to, because I'm not a racist asshole. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper, and no victim left behind.